Hello and welcome to this episode of the Business Spotlight. Today we are joined by Anish Patel from Max Min Veterinary Practice. Hello, Anish.
Hi, Mark.
Hello there. So thank you for being with us today on this episode of the Business Spotlight. We're really excited to learn a little bit more about you and your company. So the goal of the Business Spotlight is for us to learn a little bit more about you, a bit more about your business, and just to help inspire the people who are watching today and thinking of getting into business and thinking of starting that entrepreneurial journey. So Anish, if you could just kick us off by telling us who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for.
Yeah, so I'm Anish Patel. I'm a vet. I've been in practice for about 12 years now, and I've just recently started my own veterinary practice in Hertford, and looking at trying to grow that business and change the way we are doing pet care, really.
Yeah, fantastic. Brilliant stuff. So obviously with being a vet, I mean, what would you say makes you stand out from the other vets that are out there, Anish?
I think the main difference with us is the whole practice, the whole ethos of the practice is built around the pets. So we've completely built this building from scratch. So we've got separate dog and cat areas. Everything's built to try and minimize the stress of going to the vets. Any pet owners will know that taking their dog or cat or rabbit, or whatever species you have to the vets, they're always anxious. The owners are always anxious. Yeah. So we have kind of taken that and tried to make the approach as calm for everyone as possible, and make the experience as straightforward and as calm as well. So it's very, very different to what you would expect from every other practice in the area. We have a waiting room with separate dog and cat areas. We have separate dog and cat consulting rooms, dog and cat wards. So they're completely opposite ends of the building. So even if you've got a barking dog at one end, the cats are still going to be calm at the other end of the building. They've got pheromone diffusers, dog and cat specific, to try and calm them down. Flooring is all kind of cushioned for our elderly patients as well. And we've even got kind of calming music and smells in reception to try and help settle both the pets and the owners as well. So it's a little bit like visiting a spa in a way.
Yeah, wow, you really have put an awful lot of thought into this. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I definitely want to come now.
You should come and visit. You're not far, actually.
No, I'm not. No, brilliant. So what's the journey been like so far? I mean, from when you first started out to sort of where you are now.
Yeah, it's been a long road. I was in first opinion practice before I started even looking at setting up on my own for a good 8 years, just learning, what was done, how things worked, getting experience in dealing with clients, dealing with pets, different conditions, gaining experience in surgery, orthopedics, and all the different areas, so that then I kind of put together what I liked and what I didn't like, and particularly what I think could be improved. And during my time in practice, it was you kind of see a big change in the veterinary industry, ranging from when I started there being a lot of independent practices out there, to now, when the vast majority of the veterinary practice or veterinary industry is owned by large corporates. So the kind of whole dynamic of pet care has changed, and I think owners are getting a little bit disheartened with that. So that was the point where I started thinking, well, how can we improve this? The other side of it was, I always found vets and the veterinary industry was a good 10, maybe even 15 years behind its medical human counterpart in terms of technology as well.
Yeah.
We were still sending postcards or letters, and faxes, and you kind of think, we're in a digital age now. We should be doing everything. Everyone does everything on their phones. It should be automated reminders. It's integrated payments. So it's all of that we've looked at trying to change, and all of those ideas then led me down to seeing how we could build a surgery of the future, if you like. And that then started to take shape just before the pandemic, where I left my previous job.
Okay.
And started to do a bit of locum work, and then got going with the practice. And then we had a huge COVID pandemic, which kind of put the brakes on everything.
Yeah.
Building work, everything just couldn't happen, and that then delayed it. So it took a good 3 years to then finish the surgery, and finally, in January this year we managed to open. So it's been a bit of a long journey.
Yes, but you got there.
We got there, yeah, exactly.
That's the main thing.
Yes.
No, that's brilliant. Well, that's great. I mean, that brings us up to speed to where you are now. So, I mean, looking forward, where do you see things going for you, and what sort of challenges do you think you've got coming up in the future?
I guess going forward, I mean, the good thing is there's a huge number of pets. Again, the pet industry has increased by almost 50% over the last 3 years.
Wow.
So there are lots and lots of pets. I guess the difficulty at the moment is, I think, the economic climate as well. That does put quite significant financial pressures on the owners. The pet insurance industry has boomed, but premiums have boomed as well. So a lot of people are struggling to pay for pet care in a way as well. So I think that is one of the pressures that we're going to have and continue to have, at least for the next few years, I would have thought. The other big one for us is staff. There is a huge shortage in vets across the country, and as we grow, it's myself at the moment and other vets, but we need more staff, and we will need more staff. So finding the right vets and good vets as well is tricky when there aren't really any, a huge pool to choose from, if you like. It's the same with nurses. So I think that staffing and the economy are going to be two big factors. And also, I think changing owners and our staff's perceptions in how we do things by integrating a lot of technology. It's a new way of doing things, right? And we have a range of clients ranging from millennials all the way up to senior citizens and pensioners, and there's a huge range of whether people are actually embracing the technology, whether people are happy to do things digitally, or whether they still want to kind of follow the traditional pathways. So I think we have to be open-minded and try and cater for both.
Yeah, I think that's key.
And then
I think that is key.
gradually change things and hopefully our clients will embrace it.
Yeah, I think that's a very great share there. And one of the things that we often say is that there's a saying where they say treat people how you'd expect to be treated, which is like the golden rule. But we say that there's a platinum rule, which is treat people how they want to be treated, because everybody's different. So it's quite a key change. So, but yeah, I think that's along the lines of what you were just saying there, Anish.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really important. And I think, the reason people would choose us is for the service. I know there's all these things that we do for the pets as well, but we want to get to know our clients as well as their pets. And if you give them the best service you can, then generally the rest will fall into place.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, moving on to yourself, Anish, I mean, as the business owner, what would you say, you've probably had a few, especially through lockdown and that, but what would you say has been the biggest lesson today, the one that, really stands out there for you that you'd like to share with us today?
Oh, that's a tricky one. There's been a lot of hurdles along the way. I think from a business point of view, never underestimate the amount that a business owner needs to learn when starting a business. I mean, in a way I was a little naive, because doing the day-to-day running a veterinary practice for someone else, which is what I was doing for many years, is not the same as owning your own. There's a lot of the finance aspect, in particular, accountancy, stock management, staff, managing staff, I think is a real eye-opener. from this side of the table now, and I think that's one of the most difficult parts, is just getting your head around that, and also managing your time more efficiently as well, because you know, there isn't enough time in the day to do everything, so you've got to make sure you're sort of setting time aside for the business and not necessarily for yourself, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's key, and I mean, it's another sort of eye opener for a lot of newer business owners, in that sort of sense of working in the business and working on the business, and having that divide and managing your time. You know, that time management aspect is key, especially in the early days when you're doing an awful lot yourself and wearing so many different hats as
Yes.
well. So, yeah, I can tell by the smile, you know exactly what I'm talking about there.
There are a lot of hats. I mean, at one point I was definitely construction worker as well as everything else.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you had the build going on and you say that you had to sort of literally down tools at COVID time and then pick it all back up and start to project manage it again. So you've done well to get it back up and running when you did.
Yeah, it's exciting though. You know, I would do it again in a heartbeat. I've learned so much, and there's so many things that, you know, you never thought you would even think about. I mean, one of the things, I think I posted it on LinkedIn a few months back, but was like door fittings and door handles and hinges, and you know, you never even think about that in your own house, let alone anywhere else. So.
Yeah. So yeah, it's right down to the minor details, all the minute granular things that you'd never thought you'd have to think about. You do.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's been good fun.
Well, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. So this is one of my favorite questions to ask our guests when they come on. So we're going to go back in time now, Anish, to an 18-year-old you. You're going to have a conversation with that 18-year-old you, but with the knowledge that you've now got. So with all of that in mind, what would you say to your 18-year-old self that would obviously benefit you back then, but also our viewers that are watching today too?
Wow, that's a long time ago now. So, I mean, I guess I think the main thing I would say to myself is almost get on with it. You know, don't be afraid to do it, because I wished I could have done this sooner. You know,
Yeah.
I've been in practice for 12 years. Graduated in 2011. So, you know, yes, I think it's good to get a few years experience under your belt. But I think I could have done this many, many, many years ago. Even if it had taken 3 years, I would be telling myself, just get on with it. You know, you know what you want to do. You know, I was always wanted to own practice one day. I wanted to be a vet from a very, very young age. So, you know, in that respect, things were kind of falling into place. But after vet school, it was like, you know, it was kind of floating in a way. Yeah, definitely do it. You know, if you want to do something, just do it, and don't be afraid to take that jump.
That's a great advice, isn't it? So you know, don't hesitate, just do it, as I think some famous brand once said.
Yeah, absolutely.
So okay, brilliant stuff. Well, moving on to inspiration. So what is it that fires you up, Anish? What is it that, you know, in the morning puts that fire in your belly that inspires you to get up and go and do what you do every day?
Yeah, I think I mean, there's the obvious ones. There's, you know, I've always loved pets. I love helping pets. I love seeing the difference from when they come in ill, you know, and you know, sometimes even in 24 hours you turn them around into a much healthier pet, and that is really, really what's the word, fulfilling. You know, you kind of, you see them, and then you see when you give them back to their owner, whether it's the same day or the next day, that the smile on their face is something that you can't ever get sick of, you know. So, you know, that there's always that. But I think for me, it's you know, the drive really is to keep learning and to keep pushing the edge. You know, we are on the edge of what we can do in veterinary, but there's so much new technology. There's so many new, I mean, AI, for example, is a big thing at the moment. You know, for every industry. And I think finding the right tools to then improve patient care and to speed up diagnostics as well. I mean, in traditional settings, we used to get diagnostic results within 5 days. We get down to now 2 hours. So from that point of view, I think that is what drives me to keep pushing us further and further forward, to try and get, because if a few of us do it in the country, in the world, then, and it works, then I think others will follow. And it's only going to make pet care better for everyone. So I think it's and possibly human health as well. You never know.
You never know. You never know. But no, that's a great share, and I can tell just from chatting to you today that you're at that cutting edge of technology within your business as well. So just talking about using AI as well, and just with the diagnostics, it's just phenomenal. And I can tell that you're going to be sort of like that spearhead of technology within the veterinary world, especially on a local basis. So that's really refreshing to hear. So that's great. Thanks, Anish, for that. So lastly, I mean, you're a relatively new business. So, I mean, if you can just let people know that are watching this today, how they can get hold of you, your website or contact details, and if you've got any sort of special deals or special offers that are coming up.
Yeah, so our practice is Max Min Veterinary Practice in Hertford, based on Foxholes Farm, and website's mnmvets.co.uk. The best way to get hold of us is go on the website, or Google us. All our contact details are there, phone number and emails as well.
Yeah.
In terms of the main offers that we have at the moment, so our unique kind of offering is our membership. So we're membership business. So almost like, I guess, a little bit like your gym.
Yeah.
So we do have a VIP membership scheme where pets pay for their, it's a £30 a month fee.
Yeah.
And they will get all of their flea and worming treatments, all of their vaccinations, reminders, but also any of their consultations included in that price. So it's completely different to any other veterinary practice in the area. So consultation fees are normally reasonably high, and that's, I believe, what puts a lot of pet owners off coming to the vets. And I understand that, so it's what we want is to be able to provide an effective and exceptional service. We need to see the pets before they get ill, or before they get too ill, in a way. And so that membership allows pet owners to then come to us, even if they feel it's they're wasting our time in a way, rather than Googling, rather than asking friends or colleagues for advice or trialing things, and then 3 days later you've got a very ill pet that needs a lot of treatment. And actually, if they're already paying for that sort of membership, then they'll come, they won't have to pay a consultation charge. They only pay for the medication if they need it. And a lot of the time we're able to intervene without them needing any medication. So from that point of view, that is our main offering. And certainly that is a big advantage to the clients we have at the moment that come to us, because they feel that's good value for money.
Yeah, no, that's a phenomenal idea, and I'm not aware of any other sort of vets locally that do anything like that. So it's really refreshing, everything that we've spoken about today. Anish, thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm sure that there's been a lot of lessons there for all of the viewers today. So Anish, it just leaves me to say thank you again for joining us on this episode of the Business Spotlight. Thanks everyone for watching today, and until next time, we'll see you all again soon.